Life is like this trail. It isn't always easy, but good boots help. Welcome to Damgardt.
All right, so today is new boot day, and we've got some boots here from White's, so let's take a look. It says White's trust the original, and for those that don't know, Otto White designed the last that everybody else uses still to this day. Well, we got the original Smokejumper. .400 Victor, and this is going to be the hand-stitched model. So I like that White's puts a box inside of a box. So that's good. That's good customer service, I guess it would fall under that. Let's see what we got here. All right, there we go. That's it right there. Built on the 4811 last. Hand-stitched welt. This is the boot that everybody else copies. I mean, and it is beautiful and in its simplicity. I mean, there's nothing extravagant about it. You've got your rubber midsole, you've got your leather midsole, your outsole, which is a white X Vibram, and then it's double stitched up here, a single stitch down here, and it's actually so one stitch does not go through the outsole, but the other stitch that is shown up here does go through the outsole, and then it's screwed in place as well. I mean, durable, just very, very nice. And there you go. Now, it will tell us, or at least it should tell us, when this was manufactured. And this was manufactured, if you look here, April of this year. So they're not really that old. And the leather that they use is quite thick. Now, some manufacturers will use on this tongue leather here, it'll be thinner, but this is actually pretty thick. That's one of the things that I like. Again, this is, of all the boots that I've worn, the 4811 is, I'm just going to say it's my favorite, because it consistently, I can put this boot on and I know it's a 4811 last. White's just has done a fantastic job with this boot. If you're looking for a boot that's comfortable and that's durable and can get you through the day. I mean, I work 12-hour shifts on concrete, and when I put this boot on and wear it, yeah, I mean, it's very, very comfortable boot. So have to get it in and try it on. The nice thing that they do is they also send 2 different types of laces. So you've got leather laces, and then you've got the nylon laces. And then you do get a pair of kilties. You can also get kilties for lace to toe if you want a longer kiltie. Alrighty, so we'll get them put on and we'll just kind of go from there. But this this boot, this is the 400V, the 400 Victor, hand-sewn Smokejumper. All right, so I unboxed these several days ago, and I've been wearing them at work for the last 3 days. And that's 3 12-hour shifts. And it's a great boot. It's a great boot. I mean, there's nothing like a White's boot. If we look at this boot here, this is the lace to toe version of what I'm wearing, with the exception that this is the stitchdown, and what I'm wearing presently is the hand-sewn. And you know, the 4811 last, there's nothing like it. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, I've worn all sorts of different lasts from different companies, and I keep gravitating back to the 4811. Frank's 77 last is good, but there's just the 4811. It's tough to beat. And quality wise, you know, White's is producing a high quality boot. And when I started this channel, that's one of the things that I wanted to help. What I wanted to do is to help others make. People had all of the information available to them to make a good decision. And that still is the goal of this channel, although there are some exciting things coming, and I'll kind of get into that here in a little bit. But let's talk about the White Smokejumper, the standard toe, which is what this version is here. The biggest difference I noticed to begin with is this is not a structured toe, and there's not extra leather here at the toe. Like what you're going to get with this here, you're going to get like this is more rigid, I guess is the best way for me to describe it. And that is just the way that that the lace to toe is designed. This boot here, very, very supple. It's very comfortable. So the question is, you know, why choose White's? Well, White's is the original. White's is what everybody else is copying. White's Auto White is the one that designed the 4811 last, and it's still being used today. So that's something to certainly keep in mind. Now, they do have some other lasts. As a matter of fact, they have a lot of other lasts. I think one of the lasts that I want to try at some point is the 690, and that's the Packer. It is taller, and it has a higher arch, so I'd just be kind of curious as to how that fits and how it feels underfoot. Now, another thing that I have coming along, and I should have it maybe 3 months. I don't know for sure how long it's going to take them to make it, but I've got the original lineman boot coming, and it is a nailed down construction. So I'm really excited about that. I know that Buck and Billy has a boot that is out, but my goal is to help the consumer make an educated decision based on comparing apples to apples. And that boot is kind of a, in its own class. It has a last that comes from the Buffalo Shoe Company, and which White's bought out a while back. And it uses a last that is different. It's not really gonna, I'm not gonna be able to compare a nail down construction boot to a regular Smokejumper, which is built on the same last, is built on the 4811. So I want to be able to give my audience and the people out there a really good representation as to what the differences are between the two boots in construction. You've got, so for now, I've got the stitch down, I've got the hand sewn, and then we'll have the nail down construction. And I should be able to give you a really good idea as to what the differences are. I always seem to gravitate back to this, and I mean, it really is a very comfortable boot. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, when you can wear a boot for 3 12-hour shifts in a row, and when you get home you don't want to take them off, that says a lot. It really does. And this last has been used since the 20s. That's amazing that this last, there's been very few, if any, changes to it over that time. And, White's really has something special. I mean, that's why everybody else is copying it. Everyone else wants to be, wants to get a piece of what White's is offering. And some people get it right and some people don't. And speaking about that, I see that JK's at it again. Which at this point, I mean, I've been a very outspoken critic of JK, just because of their business practices and whatnot. But I see that they've got some new personality that I don't know. I haven't even heard of this guy. Some guy that says if his wife would let him wear his boots to bed, he would. I mean, that stuff don't impress me. I've worn their boots. I've followed them through all their, I guess you'd call them growing pains, although I really don't know how relevant they are anymore. They don't offer what Whites can. I mean, they can't even touch them. Can't even come close. And I guess in their defense, maybe they're not trying to. Maybe they're trying to capture a different corner of the market, so to speak. But what I really find disturbing is the fact that they're trying to promote themselves as a high quality boot that competes with, Whites or Nicks or Franks, and they're charging the same, if not more money, and the consumer or the customer is getting an inferior product, in my opinion. Okay, and again, I mean, you don't have to take my word for it, but I've torn them down. Now, I haven't torn down their latest iteration, which is the 360 stitch down, which, again, that's getting away from the roots of what Otto White started, and it's kind of getting into its own territory. And sure, I know White's has some 360 stitch down, and Nick's does, but it's not the same thing as a 270 stitch down boot. You can't convince me of that. And once I get this nail down construction, I'm really excited to get that boot, because yeah, you can say that it has some limitations, but does it? I mean, does it really have limitations? I mean, there are some things you can do to counter you know, because you're looking at, well, if I'm in water, you know, will the nails rust? Well, there's things you can do for that, and you should do for that to take care of that. But the construction from everything that I understand is some of the best construction you can get. And that's how they built boots for years. Yeah, nails rust, but thread rots, you know. I mean, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So, but once that boot comes in, we'll take a good look at it. I'm not going to tear that one down. I mean, if somebody wants to send me a nail down construction boot to tear down, great, you know, I'll do that, but I'm not, not going to tear those down. But anyway, you know, if you guys have any questions or anything, or want to reach out to me, you know, feel free to do so. I'm glad to answer that stuff. That's the whole reason I started this channel, is to help people in making a good decision on spending their money and getting what they pay for, and getting a quality boot, and having their expectations met, or, you know, have the company exceed those expectations. And I think they're with some of these companies, your expectations will be exceeded. So I didn't give whites a lot of, I don't want to say attention, but I had 3 pairs of the same boot, you know, so I really didn't expand anything with whites. So I don't want to be one-dimensional. And why wouldn't someone want to be part of, you know, what started it all, and get a better understanding of that? So, you know, you all can go through that journey with me, and hopefully we'll both learn something. So, who knows? Thanks for watching.